The advantages of buying a home versus renting a home. Buying a home has dependably been incorporated with the American dream, yet in the wake of the lodging crash, another age of home buyers is treading all the more painstakingly. While renting is more adaptable, buying a home has the greater potential long-haul result, with assessed focal points and personal satisfaction benefits. Contrasting the expenses of buying are more different and entangled than for renting, so it's critical to look past simply the numbers when making best course of action. Buyer put down roots when he buy a home, in spite of the fact that it's smarter to rent on the off chance that buyer won't remain long, or if his plans are indeterminate, that sort of adaptability accompanies a cost. It's harder to feel built up in an area in the event that buyer isn't a property holder. The principal excite of selling houses is watching individuals put down roots. At the point when customers buy a house, they settle in and make a group. An additional advantage is that buyer has the privilege to paint the restroom or put in a rose garden without asking authorization. Home ownership is a built-in savings account. There's no place like home. It's actual regardless of the possibility that buyer just have eyes for the primary concern. When he buy a home, he select in a constrained reserve funds design. Regardless of how tight his financial plan might be, he discovers the cash to make this month-to-month contract installment. Step by step, buyer pay down the home loan and increment his value, the measure of cash he can sell the house for, not as much as would despite everything he own it. Over a lifetime, home possession causes he assemble riches. Buying a home has big tax advantages. When buyer chooses to buy a home, buyer can rely on his uncle's help. The huge tax breaks of buying as opposed to renting might be reason enough to contribute. Property holders can deduct contract enthusiasm on their government pay charges. This is a heavy conclusion for some individuals, since intrigue installments are regularly the biggest piece of a home loan installment in the early years of owning a home. Buyer can likewise deduct sum and charges and his property charges. Paying a fixed mortgage stabilizes your budget, as an individual who has rented a home knows. Lease climbs are the standard and regularly out of his control. In case buyer is in a range without lease control, the landowner can raise the lease at whatever point he or she prefers. Indeed, even with lease control, there are exemptions and he can't depend on his lease staying stable. On the off chance that he buys a home and takes out a settled rate contract, his home installment remains the same for the life of the credit, regardless of whether it's 15 or 30 years. Buying a home costs less than renting over time. Buying is the less expensive option over the long haul. While his home loan installment may at first be more than he'd pay in lease, he'll spend less finish the life of the credit in the event that he buy. Rents may ascend after some time, changing the condition. Likewise, given the tax cuts of home proprietorship, his valid out-of-stash costs from the very beginning can be not exactly on the off chance that the lease. When buyer factor in the likelihood that real estate esteems regularly go up finish the years, home possession looks shockingly better. The wonderful finish is that when his home loan is paid off, he can quit influencing installments yet he to keep the house. For free samples of probates, inherited, foreclosures, absentees, landlord, vacant, code violations, evictions list, visit www.realsupermarket.com.